3 weeks into the season, and the two of us have noticed something interesting.
Absolutely. Most of the goalkeepers, Greg, in Major League Soccer have on the back of the jersey number 1.
That's what you've noticed, that they have the... It is all about numbers this week in MLS. Extra Time is next. Welcome to Extra Time, everybody. I'm your host, Greg Lawless, alongside my partner in crime, Shep Messing here. And today's Act 1, a new number theory. One team still without a point, 2 hat tricks, 3 wins for Seattle and Chivas, and the ugly side, 4 red cards this past weekend. It was a little ugly out there, wasn't it?
You lost me, but I like the red cards because anything that clamps...
You like the red cards?
I do. Cut out the excessive force and fouls and get attacking soccer. I like
Oh, you like that the referees are giving out the red cards?
Yes, I do.
Right. Yeah, a little violent, we have to all admit on that one. We'll start with the number 1, though. FC Dallas still has 0 points. They're the one team that hasn't gotten a single point. They lost this past weekend to New England on a weak call, really, for a penalty. I don't think they really deserved that. They didn't necessarily deserve to win the game either. But I do think they turned in their best performance of the year. Shep, how close is Dallas to getting their first point?
They're far away. I really, I'm not rooting against them, but Sheila Simon has brought in a lot of new players. They're lacking some chemistry in the midfield. Darius Sala hurt out of goal. Ray burst in there, so weakness on the defensive line. I think there are challenges all over that starting 11.
And the schedule doesn't really favor them too much right now. They have 2 games against Toronto, 1 away and 1 at home, and then at Chivas and at DC. Those are their next 4 games, so that doesn't help. But the key for the team, obviously, is Kenny Cooper. He has 2 goals. He got his second one against New England. Those are the only 2 goals that Dallas has scored this year. He's been getting some good looks, but he hasn't actually been finishing them all. He had a couple of chances against New England where he could have maybe put that game away.
Greg, I'm a big fan of Kenny Cooper.
Yep.
I love him as a player, but if you think about his 2 goals, one, a 60-yard goal against Chicago against John Bush, and then the tap-in against New England, he has squandered some of the better goal-scoring opportunities. He needs to continue to get service. If he finds his chances, he'll find the goal.
Well, that's going to be the problem, getting the service especially. Next up, the number 2, as in 2 guys this weekend who did very well to finish. Unlike Kenny Cooper, as we're talking, Robbie Findlay and Connor Casey both hit hat tricks. Shep, earlier in the season, you and I said that Yura Movsisyan was going to have to be the man for Real Salt Lake if they were going to get anywhere this year, go beyond what they did last year. But maybe it's Robbie Findlay, actually.
Greg, you think about Robbie Findlay, and highly touted youngster with speed, skill on the ball. He got the goals. I mean,
that's always been the problem. He hasn't been a finisher,
exactly. And having said that, he capitalized on some mistakes by Columbus, the first one by Hesmer, but it doesn't matter. If you're a goal scorer, score goals. So Findlay has the speed, he's got good skill on the ball, and he finally finished. That's what we've been waiting for from him.
Well, that's true. We've also been waiting for that from Colorado's Connor Casey, who led the way in a 3-2 win over Los Angeles. He got his first goal in just 17 seconds into the game. I mean, LA fell apart.
They really did. And that game was a shock, but you and I both liked Colorado before this season, and I like Connor Casey. You know, the knock against Connor Casey has been injury prone, but he's big, he's strong, he's athletic, he's good in the air, deceptively good with the ball at his feet. So Connor Casey, especially if he gets service from the likes of Colin Clark and Manny Bellucci and Terry Cook.
Right. If he gets the service, certainly has all the tools to that. But is there any question about the LA defense basically gifting him all those goals?
Yeah, they definitely did. But, you know, I've become an LA Galaxy fan. I know I'm in the minority right now. They have Greg Berhalter. I think they'll shore things up.
That's true. They did sign on Greg Berhalter, which is a big pickup for them, hopefully, in the defense. On to number 3, which means 3 wins each. Both Seattle and Chivas have 3 wins. They're at the top of the Western Conference tied. Seattle actually up there because they haven't let any goals there at the top officially. Pretty impressive from the new team.
I think Seattle has been unbelievable. They really are. You start with Casey Keller in goal, and an in-shape, fit, motivated Casey Keller keeps you in every game. He hasn't allowed a goal in 3 games. Montero did great, and now Freddie Lundberg against Toronto. What a debut as a starter. Great pass from Nate Jaqua. Superb pass, give and go. He gets the opening goal. So Freddie Lundberg, add him to the mix. But they didn't miss a beat. Alonso, great in the deep part of the midfield. Brad Evans. So Seattle has already overcome that little bump.
Well, Seattle plays Kansas City this weekend, but next week they go against Chivas USA, the all other undefeated team in MLS. And Chivas this past weekend, they faced a very tired Columbus Crew team that seems to have its confidence shaken, but they got the job done, didn't they?
I'm giving more and more kudos to Preki as a manager.
Yeah.
I really don't know what else to attribute it to. I mean, the guy has been phenomenal in terms of a system, missing players. I mean, they're doing this all without Ante Razov. When a healthy Razov comes back, I think they'll be tough.
Well, Chivas faced Los Angeles on Saturday night in the Super Clásico. That's actually on ESPN2. Finally, the number 4. There were 4 red cards this past weekend. The red rain was falling down, as Peter Gabriel sang. So let's look at the 4 and assess them. It started with Jaime Moreno, 71st minute for DC on a tackle on Brad Davis.
Yeah, Greg, there are 7 different offenses for which you can get a red card, most of them for excessive force, violent conduct. You look at this Jaime Moreno tackle from behind, that's excessive force. It's violent. It's absolutely a red card offense.
A good call by the referee. Another one, Dima Kovalenko for Los Angeles in the 59th minute. He goes in really, really hard on Mehdi Bellucci, and this one was ugly.
Yeah, Dima Kovalenko has had the reputation of being a very hard physical player. This is beyond hard and physical. It's violent, it's excessive, absolute red card.
Yeah, Kovalenko, no excuse there. John Thornton for Chicago was kicked out in the 14th minute against New York for taking down Makamba Kunji.
Well, not excessive violence, not excessive force, but denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity. It's a fallacy about the last man back. Could Samari have gotten over there? I don't think so. Good red card.
No, I think Kanji has the speed to catch up with him. And the last one was Andy Iro for the Columbus Crew in the 54th minute, about 15 minutes after he scored a goal. He goes in very hard on Kerry Talley. This was also ugly.
Hey, Greg, I have to look away when I see that. Andy Iro comes in with the studs up, violent. That's a broken leg waiting to happen. Absolutely a red card. I'd make the argument both Kovalenko and Andy Iro should get a multiple game suspension.
Well, we'll see if that happens. Good job by the referees on all those red cards. Tomorrow we'll talk to Los Angeles' Eddie Lewis about this weekend's Super Clásico, so join us.